are joined this morning by CHR Commissioner and Spokesperson Attorney Beda Epres. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Attorney.
Yes, good morning, Gretchen, and good morning to all your televiewers.
Okay, tell us all about this problem that we are facing now. How widespread is it that babies are being sold online? What trends has the CHR observed so far?
It has become widespread maybe because of the advent of technology. The persons are now making use of social media platforms, specifically Facebook, in advertising what they call they are advertising that they can facilitate or negotiate for an adoption. But this is actually online selling as we see it, because children really are being, for us, it's actually an exploitation of the children. Or they are taking advantage of the children and of the parents, maybe because of their poverty. So some of our fellow men are quite enterprising, and they are taking advantage of them.
Oo, pero paano po nangyayari ito? I mean, can you run us through a normal transaction?
So there are Facebook accounts that are advertising that they can facilitate or they can negotiate for an adoption. And so some of our kababayans also would who are very much longing to have a baby, sabi nga sa atin that a baby or a child would complete a family. So nakikipag-negotiate sila with these Facebook accounts, and then yun actually yung transaction. But after the sale, pangit mang pakinggan, kumbaga nasa bahala na yung mga bumili how to facilitate or how are they going to legitimize the process of registering the baby on their names. There are already laws which streamline the process of adoption, kaya hindi naman na po kailangang mag-resort pa into going through these Facebook accounts and transacting with these individuals, dahil meron naman pong batas na bago, Republic Act 11642, which has streamlined the process of adoption. Kung dati po the process of adoption is a judicial process, now it's an administrative process, and it is being undertaken by the National Authority for Child Care. So mabilis na po yung proseso. Kaya ang panawagan namin is wag pong mag-resort sa ganitong proseso, because babies can never be, or individuals, humans can never be a subject of sale. They cannot be considered as a commodity.
Well, what caught my attention there was that there were Facebook groups with over 100,000 members. I mean, ito po talaga ay pumupunta talaga dito para maghanap ng anak. Ganun po ba yung ka-alarming?
Sad to say, there is really a high demand for adoption. Marami po tayong mga kababayan that are not blessed with children, and so they want to resort into this process na we call it an informal, actually informal process of adoption. They don't want to go through the tedious process. Baka lang po kasi hindi pa nila alam that the process of adoption is no longer a court proceedings. It's already an administrative process. So wala na pong, hindi na po tayo kailangan pumunta sa courts and to file for a petition for adoption. Maybe there's just a need to inform our fellow men that there is already a new law which streamlines the process of adoption. Kaya hindi na po kailangan mag-resort dito sa pagpunta sa mga Facebook accounts na ito.
Okay. There was an amount mentioned in the report was 90,000 pesos. Is that the low end of the price range for these babies?
Based on our monitoring, the price would range from 70 to 90 depending on the person na gustong bumili. Maybe they are also assessing the financial capability of the person or the eagerness of that person to have a baby of their own. So hindi po fixed yung price na monitor namin. But again, pangit pong pag-usapan kasi yung presyo kasi ang sabi ko nga po is that yung mga bata ay hindi dapat maging subject matter ng sale. So dapat
Correct, correct.
yes, yes.
Right, but it is already happening before our eyes,
Yes.
no? Tapos, paano po yun? May mga photos po sila na pinopost? Kasi usually, di ba, parang when we sell, I mean, ayaw naman natin ilinya sa ganun, pero sa Facebook, when we see, kung nga nagbebenta po ng sasakyan, may mga detalye po yan, maraming mga retrato. I mean, ganun din po ba yung way na binibenta itong mga babies na ito online?
Meron pong wala namang actual picture kundi meron pong message kumbaga the transaction is through messaging and then meetups. Kaya po if you nabalita po sa news no that there was an entrapment operation early on in Pasay City wherein a 1-month-old child was rescued dito po sa transaction na ito.
Oo, oo. But how is how is the government working with Facebook? Pagka may photo na take down po ba? Alam po natin may mga may mga sensitivities yan eh. Like for example, animals, right? When you sell puppies, that's also not allowed to be posted on Facebook. For babies, ito po ay taken down.
Yes, yes, definitely. The National Authority for Child Care is closely working with our DICT. Katulong po nila yung DICT doon. And I believe right now they are monitoring 23 Facebook pages suspected of engaging into online selling of babies.
And these 23 Facebook pages, how do they act? Do they act as the parents who sell babies or do they act as agents to those who want to sell their babies?
They act, ma'am, as agents, no? They are the ones who are advertising that they could facilitate the negotiation of the adoption.
So may may cut pa yun, dun sa 70 to 90,000.
Well, definitely po, because again, as I've mentioned earlier, they are taking advantage of the situation of the poverty maybe of the parents. Kaya ganun po yung nangyayari.
But wala naman pong pamilya no, who is making this a business. Wala pa kayo na monitor na gano'n o meron na po?
Business, kung business in the sense na every time pong manganganak sila, they would have their babies for sale. Wala naman po. On the part of the parents, we are actually nakikidumama rin po kami sa kanila because some of the parents we have interviewed, ang sinasabi nila it's really because of poverty and they are hoping na yung parents na mapupuntahan ng kanilang anak would give them their children or the child a better future, mas magandang kabuhayan kaysa doon sa pwedeng maibigay ng natural parents, and that's the reason why pumapayag sila to have their babies adopted.
Okay. With those that you were able to catch in the entrapment operations, ano po yung mga kinaso po dito sa kanila? What are in the violation of?
Based po doon sa aming coordination with the Philippine National Police, particularly the Women and Child Protection Center, they were able to apprehend 16 perpetrators and charges were filed against them for a violation of Republic Act 7610, specifically on child trafficking. So far, isa pa lang po ang na-convict and the others are still ongoing po yung trial against these perpetrators.
Ito po ay makakaso laban sa mga nagbebenta ng kanilang anak or laban sa bumibili or doon sa ahente? Sino po ang makakasuhan dito?
if we're going to look at it as well, definitely, ma'am, it's the person who was who facilitated the sale. Kaya nga po nire-rescue po natin yung mga bata. On the part of the parents, tinitingnan namin kailangan ba silang makasuhan pa, because first is ang nag-udyok sa kanila is poverty, and if alam niyo po, tinitingnan din namin na if ever they'll be found guilty, makukulong sila, who take good care of the children. Tinitingnan po rin po namin yung aspeto na yon. And isa rin po sa tinitingnan namin is that was there a deception or on the part of the so-called agent na nagpa-facilitate nito. Baka naman po kasi uh, on the part of the agent, ang sinasabi sa magulang that we can help you facilitate the adoption, pero minsan blind din po sila doon sa ang procedure na pala is pagbebenta and kumikita yung agent as a result of the posting of this online selling. So yun po yung mga tinitingnan din namin.
So it's not conclusive yet. We're still researching on the data
Yes,
that
yes, ma'am.
actually
Opo.
that happens. But on the part of the buyer, meron po bang kaso na pwede ring isampa dun sa bumibili?
Uh, that is a clear case, ma'am, of child trafficking kasi sila po yung nag-benefit. So it's actually a very complicated case because some of the alleged buyer, ang sinasabi nila, lumapit kami doon and with a clean intention of adopting the baby. So it's just the procedure, ma'am, na dinaanan nila ang medyo illegal because again, there is already a law which streamlines the process of adoption. Kaya hindi na kailangan pang dumaan dito sa or makipag-transact dito sa mga Facebook accounts na yon na purporting to facilitate negotiations for adoption, pero actually is they are actually selling it. So it's actually, ma'am, the agent ang
So
tinitingnan namin
you are
na
considering
mas may culpability. Yes.
the purchaser and the seller as victims of these agents. Ganun po ang pagtingin niyo dito.
If ma'am, if ako, this is just my personal opinion, if the seller no, I mean if the buyer is faithfully believe that their intention really is to have to undergo the process of adoption, hindi lang po nila alam kung paano or sino ang pwede nilang lapitan for the adoption. I think wala pa akong nakikitang criminal liability. But if the purpose of buying the baby is for purposes of exploitation, then I think there is already a violation on the part of the buyer.
Okay. I guess, gaya po na sabi ninyo, no, there is still a huge lack of awareness over our adoption laws and how they have changed from being a court procedure to now being an administrative procedure. Can you can you run us down through that procedure for those who want to adopt kids?
Yes.
Where should they go? How should they find their options? Paano po yun?
Yes. So the adoption now under Republic Act 11642 is being undertaken by the National Authority for Child Care. Pwede pong pumunta ang individuals who wants to adopt doon sa office nila or with the regional offices of NACC. Meron po silang mga bata doon and what's necessary is that these children must have a certificate declaring that they are legally available for adoption. So the application will be submitted with the regional office. Then magkakaroon po ito ng home study report. The social worker will look into the applicant's capability of taking care of a child, his financial capability, the background and the readiness to have a child. Then nagkakaroon po ito ng matching whether the child is suitable para po doon sa kanyang magiging bagong family. And after that, magkakaroon po ng supervised trial custody. Papatirahin po yung bata doon sa magiging future parent niya at least for 6 months. Titingnan kung magiging okay po yung magiging samahan nila. And after that, magkakaroon ng petition for review. Titingnan if after going all this procedure, capable na nga ba talaga yung parent to take good care of the child. And then the NACC will now issue an order of adoption, and after that a new birth certificate shall be issued reflecting now that the adopter is really the parent of the adopted child now.
I guess another thing that could be a deterrent here would be if the parents who purchase babies would, encounter some hurdles getting the official documents, right? Like kapag nakita po na track po natin na hindi sa tamang proseso, maaari nating ma-flag. Tell us all about that. I mean, how do these babies who are purchased, how do they get their birth certificates? Marami po ba tayong loopholes? Madali lang po ba yun?
It has been practiced, ma'am, decades ago siguro yung tinatawag. It's actually illegal because there is actually a law punishing this. Yung tinatawag po nating simulation of birth. Nung unang panahon po, ang ginagawa ng mga gustong magkaroon ng anak is that they would talk to their relatives. Baka pwede na i-adapt ko na lang yung anak mo, ganon. So ganon po yung nangyayari noon. And then, palalabasin na lang po nila that they are the natural parents by registering the baby, yung tinatawag po natin late registration. And pinapalabas na lang po doon sa application for registration ng birth that
Sila na yung
the
parent.
adopter is the natural parent. This is illegal, ma'am. It's a violation of one of the provisions in the revised penal code on simulation of birth. So dito po sa nangyayari ngayon, ina-advertise that they could facilitate the adoption, they could negotiate for an adoption. So ganun po yung nakikita naming magiging
papeles po,
nagagawin.
pati yung papeles
Yes.
at late registration, yun din, inaayos po rin ng ahente yun.
You mean the process, ma'am?
Yes, the of late registration.
Of registering?
Yes.
Yes, ginagawa na rin po. So, ang nakikita nga po namin dito is that ayokong sabihin na baka yun ang maging defense nila. So maybe I'll just say it off the air kung paano po iyon. But then yes, if ina-facilitate po nila lahat ito, late registration. Yes.
Actually, this happens. Tama po kayo. This happens a lot in poor families, impoverished families, that they would rather have a relative who is financially capable to take care of their own child, lalo
Yes.
na po kung marami ang naging anak at hindi nakakayanin. Kaya talagang pinapasa na sa kamag-anak. I guess yun yung pinagmumulan yan. But it is, good taking a look at, because as we see in online gambling, when technology is put in the process, it exacerbates the existing problem and magnifies it by how many times. I guess thank you so much for enlightening us about those processes, and we do hope that this gets a resolution and a clearer study so we could work on it. Maraming salamat for your time today. We have CHR Commissioner and Spokesperson, Attorney Beda Epres.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you.